But I know that. Huh? Just go. Huh? What the other? Yes. Okay. Fine. You're putting the messages. All right. Last week, we discussed with you regarding the special types of documented credits. And there we have discussed clean credits, then standby letter of credit, then red clause letter of credit, revolving letter of credit, and then transferable letter of credit. Under transferable, I told you to go through Article 38 of UCP 600, where you can get a very descriptive note on transferable LCs, right? How it happens, the operational issues, right? Rules and regulations, everything. That Article 38 itself is a very good note for transferable LCs, right? Each section, I can't tell you what are the most important areas, but every subsection is very, very important. So you have to go through it over and over, because generally transferable DCs are coming on each year, right? I think we stopped at after discussing transferable LCs, I think I stopped the class. Am I correct? Right? Okay. Now we have to continue from there. Back-to-back credits. हम एक डिस्कस करें नहीं back to back. ඔගොල්ලොත් එක්ක डिस्कस කළාද? නැද්ද? Have I discussed this one with you? If so, I can start the new session. Yes or no? මට කියන්න. Back to back එක අපි discuss කළාද? ළමයි සද්ද නෑනේ. ඇයි? quarantine වෙලාද Valentine Day එකේ? ළමයි quarantine වෙලාද දන්නේ නැහැ Valentine Day එකේ. සද්ද නැත්තේ. මොකද හේතුව? මට මෙසේජ් එකක්වත් දැන් මේ කලාද නැද්ද කියනකො නැත්තම් අනිත් එකට යන්න අලුත් පාඩමට. There were few people, no? There are few people. Naomi or Dasun, can you tell me, have I done it or not? ඔබන්ට මාව ඇහෙනවද? Naomi, you joined today, right? So why don't you speak up? Please speak up. I don't want messages, right? That is not my way of teaching. We have to have interaction, right? Have I done back to back or not? We are wasting time. මම ට්‍රැක් එකක් තියාගත්තේ නැහැ. Terrible. God help you, everybody. I have never done a class like this. Even all the other classes, the people are talking. This English medium, I don't know how Bernard handled it. For me, it looks like all the deaf and dumb people are doing the international trade English medium. The guys who can talk are doing in other media, even singular medium, people are talking. Even other subjects, what I am doing, people are talking. Only this class, we are having deaf and dumb guys, so can't help. So let's see. As I'm teaching for the deaf and dumb guys, I will do it. I don't know. Dumb, of course, yes, understood, but deaf, I don't know whether you can hear me. Right. The other one is, the last one is back-to-back credits. Now, back-to-back credits is very much similar to transferable LC, but there are certain differences also, right? Here, what is happening is transferable LCs, there's only one LC, it is getting transferred to second beneficiary or beneficiaries. Here, what is happening is, based on a irrevocable documentary credit, we keep that irrevocable documentary credit as a security or as a collateral to open another LC for the second beneficiary. Another LC for the second beneficiary, right? Now we know when we open LCs, obviously any bank will ask for facilities. You have done trade finance facility, sums you are doing. Mr. Bernard has taught you about it, and he told me that you have done many sums, right? And the guys who have followed those classes, you know, we start with revolving facility for issuance of LCs. Issuance of LCs. Some facilities are millions, right? So we have to have certain collateral for that. But transferable LCs, there's no second LC. The same LC is getting transferred. But back-to-back is something different. We have two LCs. One is, we have the buyer. Can you see this? Can you see the board? Can you see the board?
No, sir, it's too far for us.
Huh?
It's too far. We can't see anything on the board.
Huh?
Lights are not moving.
Lights are not moving.
Yeah.
Moving.
But from us here, we can check from student.
All right. You can see the slide?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see the board?
Till it's not clear, sir.
Still not clear.
Yeah.
What do you mean by not clear? Is it not
Because
visible or
visible, yeah.
heard?
Yeah.
Huh? It is blurred or visible, not visible. Tell me. It's all this.
So now okay. So now okay.
Now you okay?
Now okay. Now okay. We can see now. We can see now. Yeah, we can see
Okay,
now.
right. Now we have a buyer and then the issuing bank. Right? So the buyer goes to the buyer or the applicant will go to the issuing bank and ask to issue a LC. Right? If you say the LC value is US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000. Then the issuing bank will, it's a normal LC. We don't put transferable or anything else. Right? Now then we open the LC for US dollars 100,000 and advise to the advising bank. Advise to the advising bank. Right? Then the advising bank will advise the beneficiary. We call this guy first beneficiary, first penny. Right? Now this LC value is US dollars 100,000. Then the first penny will come to you, to the advising bank, that's your bank, and he will come to you and tell you that he wants to open another LC to the actual seller, like transferable LC, but this is a normal LC. Because of that, he wants to keep this LC as a collateral to open the second LC. Right? So he will ask you to keep this LC and he will request to open second LC. Request to open the second LC. Right? Then the advising bank will then, if they agree, they will open another LC, same quantity, like transferable LCs, same quantity, same quality, everything, but for a lesser unit price. So the second one will be open for US dollars 80,000. US dollars 80,000. We open the second LC. Okay. Now this is second advising bank. Second advising bank will receive this LC and then they will advise to the second beneficiary. It is like transferable LCs. But only thing is two different LCs. Based on the master LC, they open another LC. We call this first LC, we call master LC. Right? The second one we call back-to-back, or we call it baby LC. Master LC again, Petia. Baby LC. Right? Again, even the Atam of one of we hit on. Right? Then these people, this actual seller, he will send the goods direct to the buyer. Okay. Okay, and then give the documents to this particular bank document, right? Give the documents to this bank. This particular bank, the second investing bank, will send the documents. Can somebody tell me what is the value of that document? What is the value of that document? US dollars, how much?
80,000?
80,000. 80,000. On the value of that, Kataran was in a tank. Mangitang Itimo, as a Valentine, those of Kuma quarantine will like it. Katawa Bahan, right? So that is the document. And when, not like the transferable LC, when we receive the documents, if the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, then this bank has to pay this bank. This bank has to pay this bank. You got it? Okay. This is the risk we are having. So once you receive the documents, two separate LCs, right? Don't mix up like transferable LC. And we can't put a clause to say the upon receipt of funds from the master LC, we will pay you. No way. Two different LCs, right? So then they will pay. They will pay the second advising bank. Second advising bank will pay the second beneficiary. Right? Now, the first advising bank, this first beneficiary, he will come to the bank and he will collect the documents, set of documents, and he will replace the documents, especially the commercial invoice and the draft with US dollars 100,000. Very much similar to transferable LC. He will switch the commercial invoice and bill of exchange, and then submit the documents to the issuing bank. This document will be for US dollars 100,000. They have switched the commercial invoice, and then buyer will pay US dollars 100,000, and we will remit the money. Right? This is how it is happening. But this is a bit of a risky one. Risky one in the sense, I have experience in, if I draw a dotted line here, right? This is one LC, this is second LC. If this guy doesn't pay due to some reasons, then what is the meaning of having this piece of paper as a security? For me, this first LC, the master LC, is not a security, it's a piece of paper. It's only a piece of paper, right? So if I am opening back-to-back LCs, I will definitely ask for collateral. But some customers, some banks are opening. Especially, we are having this issue with relationship managers, credit managers. They want to help their customer. They are coming and telling us, the trade guys, this my customer wants back-to-back LCs. ඒවා අහලා තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ back-to-back කියන ඒවා අහලා තියෙනවා. අහලා තිබ්බට මේකේ තියෙන රිස්ක් එක දන්නේ. කස්ටමර්ට ඕන නම් බැංක්ස් වලට වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඒකමයි. කස්ටමර්ට ඕන විදියට දෙන්න තමයි හදන්නේ. අන්තිමේදී අතපුච්ච ගන්නවා. නේ? ඒකින්ද හරි පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕන මේක ඉෂුව කරද්දී. Again, for me, it's only a piece of paper, not a good security, right? If I tell you a nice example, few years back, when I was the head of trade at Standard Chartered Bank, right? I had one of my customers, a leading sugar importer. At that time, he was the #1 sugar importer in Sri Lanka. And he has opened a LC. He has opened a LC to the middleman. The first beneficiary is the middleman in Dubai. Right? Issuing Bank, Sri Lanka. Advising Bank, SCB, Dubai. SCB, Dubai. This man is a middleman. This is a middleman. Right? Then this guy has asked to open another LC, baby LC, based on this particular LC. And they have opened the second LC to a bank in Brazil. A bank in Brazil to import sugar. Sugar consignment sugar. And they submit the documents to SCB Dubai. They submit the documents to SCB Dubai. And the documents are perfect. No discrepancies. So in a scenario like that, this guy has to pay. As per UCP 600, they have to honor the document. Well, they are the issuing bank. This is not a transferable LC, back to back. So it's a new LC under UCP 600. If the documents are compliant with the terms and conditions of the LC, they have to pay. You got it? Right? Then what happened? The Mid-Sea Somalian pirates, they captured the vessel. Now the goods are not coming here. And the buyer got the message. Buyer got the message of this ship was captured by Somalian pirates. Right? So he asked the bank here, SCB Sri Lanka, not to pay. But banks are not dealing with goods. We are not dealing with goods. We are only dealing with documents. If we receive the document, we'll have to pay. By the time these people have sent the switch documents also to Sri Lanka. And when we told this guy, sorry, we can't do anything, because as per the UCP 600, we have to pay. Then he went to the courts and got an injunction order against the bank, preventing us paying. Now we can't do anything. When we have an injunction order, we can't do anything. So we couldn't pay. But SCB Dubai has to pay, and they have paid Brazil. Now they are requesting us to, they are pressurizing us to send the money. No way. Now see the risk these people have taken on opening an LC, without any collateral. They took this piece of paper as a collateral. Right? You got it. Okay. You go through the handouts, but I think you won't get a better explanation than this, right? Meeting a polluta veterana, Uganda, back to back again, Liagana. Uganda make a theory another. Make it a risky theory another. Oh, now I. Have you understood or not? Tell me.
Understood, sir.
Right, okay, fine. 100% අක්කාල දෙන්න එතන මට ඉතුරු ටික දැන්න පුළුවන්. You can see the slide. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, fine. Then I have given the back-to-back credit diagram, right? Slowly you can go through it, get a printout of these handouts and then go through it. I have given 1, 2, 3, 4, all the steps. All the steps I have given here. What are the numbers? So study according to the steps given, right? 20 steps තියෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලා ගන්න. හොඳම දේ තමයි මේක පාඩම් කරන්න තියෙන හොඳම දේ තමයි when you are reading this back to back, right? When you are studying the diagram, take a piece of paper, fresh piece of paper, new one, and try to draw the diagram according to the steps given, right? So for example, sales agreement between the applicant and the seller, middleman of the master LC, and middleman and the supplier of the baby LC, right? එතන ඒ වගේ ඔයගන්ට මේ කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මෙතන මේ දෙන්නගේ තියෙනවා sales agreement එක. ඒ වගේම මේ දෙන්නගේ sales agreement එක. right? ඒ වගේ දෙකින් දෙකට කියන්න පුළුවන්. Then checklist for back-to-back letter of credit. The middleman's financial standing and integrity is very, very important, right? And then the standing of the bank issuing the master LC. That is also very important. If the standing of the bank issuing the master LC is not good, then you can forget about getting the money. You can get caught for a fraud, right? Then careful examination of the master LC, whether it is workable. Before you open the baby LC, you have to carefully examine the master LC, whether there's any clauses where you cannot fulfill. It is not workable, right? Does the back-to-back LC, that's a baby LC, comply with the master LC? That also you have to be careful. Does the transaction gives the bank the control over the goods? Does the transaction gives the bank the control over the goods? Right? All these things are food for thought when you are dealing with back-to-back LCs. I told you regarding the revolving LCs last week, out of my more than 100,000 LCs I have handled, I have not handled more than 25 revolving LCs. Back-to-back also similar to that, right? I may have handled about 40 to 50 LCs out of more than 100,000 LCs, because the banks we try to avoid as much as possible back-to-back, because back-to-back, the master LC is not a good collateral. Transferable credits versus back-to-back credits. We'll see what are the similarities. This particular one is a common question in most of the years, right? They ask to compare and contrast transferable credits versus back-to-back credit, right? Similarities, both credits involve a middleman as seller, right? It is true. They both involve substitution of documents. When issuing a back-to-back or transferring a credit, terms to be observed, a price, DC amount and the unit price might be reduced, expiry date and the shipment date might be brought forward. They gave a similarity. Date of presentation of documents might be curtailed, right? Insurance amount of the second DC might be increased to comply with the amount required under the master DC, right? Any documents which cannot be substituted, for example, certificate of origin and all. Make it bigger. LCs dekatama samana. What are the differences? Back-to-back credits involve two DCs. Back-to-back credits involve two DCs. Transferable credits involve only one DC. Right? Back-to-back credits need not be designated transferable. Back-to-back credit need not be designated as transferable. But transferable credits must be designated as transferable. Okay? Transferable credits has to be designated as transferable. Otherwise, you can't transfer. Back-to-back credits are issued on the responsibility of the bank. Transferable credits are transferred without any responsibility by the bank. Right? UCP 600 governs both back-to-back and transferable LCs, but transferable credits issued must specifically comply with Article 38. Right? Back-to-back ki mukadda article leka. Back-to-back ki mukadda article leka. Back-to-back ki mukadda article leka. There's no such article because two different LCs governed by UCP 600. Back-to-back credits allow certain flexibility in documentary requirements. Transferable credits allow none except as set out in UCP 600 Article 38. When it comes to transferable DCs, you can change only the items under Article 38G. Others you cannot. But back-to-back, you have the flexibility because two different LCs. They munnar change karaganda munna eva pelipur daganna pulo. Back-to-back customers require special credit facility, whereas transferable credits do not. Why they need special credit facility? Because no bank is treating the master LC as a good collateral, right? But transferable credit ki mukut thonne ekam LC ka thamai transfer la done. Any questions you have? Or otherwise, I am going to ask you questions. Okay. Now answer these questions. There is a type of a letter of credit that allows an exporter to claim payment before it has dispatched the goods. What is this? Please speak up. Now unmute your phones and speakers and now talk. What is the answer? What is the answer? allows an exporter to claim payment before it has dispatched the goods.
Red class DC.
Yeah, Red Clause DC. Very good. Can I have your name, Putha?
Malsha.
Sorry, I didn't get
Malsha.
Marsha.
Malsha.
Marsha. Thank you, Marsha. I think it's good. I mean, this is the way we want to go forward, right? Okay. In a transferable letter of credit, there can be more than one beneficiary. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, there can be more than one beneficiary. There is more than one issuing bank involved. There is more than one issuing bank involved. What's the question there? Yes or no?
No.
Huh?
Only one.
Only one. Only one. Answer is no. Only one issuing bank. Other one is a transferable bank. Transferring bank. Transferring bank. All the beneficiaries make separate presentation of documents. Yes or no? All the beneficiaries make separate presentation of documents.
Yes.
Yes. මේක මම කළාද කියලා මට මතක නැහැ. හරියටම මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දුන්නාද කියලා මම කිව්වද ISP මේ International Standby Letter of Credit is governed by ICC regulation, right? ICC regulation, that is ISP 1998. ISP 1998, but this is a very common question. It make a පොඩ්ඩක් ලියාගන්න under standby letter of credit. Standby letter of credit is governed by ISP 98. ISP 98, not 95. Which of the following statement is incorrect? අනිත් ඔක්කොම ඒවා ABD. Study very carefully because try to memorize it. It's a very good short note on standby letter of credit. A says the standby document of credit is intended to cover non-performance situation instead of a performance situation. Perfectly correct. Standby credit is a form, a legal viewpoint equal to the demand guarantee. ඒකත් හරි. The standby credit may be issued at the request of the seller. ඒකත් හරි. මේක වැරදි එක තියෙන්නේ ISP 95 කියලා මෙතන දාලා තියෙනවා 95 නෙමෙයි 98. Right. On which of the following element back-to-back trade differ from transferable trade? Tell me the answers. Involve middleman as seller, involve substitution of documents, two independent undertakings by two different issuing banks, none of the above. What is it? What's the answer here? What is the answer? Hmm? On which of the following elements back-to-back trade differ from transferable trades? A, B, C, or D? Pick up.
C.
Hmm?
Is it C?
Yes. Answer is C. Two independent undertaking by two different issuing banks. That is for back-to-back. In transferable LCs, only one undertaking by the issuing bank. Right? Okay. Right. I think I have discussed about the special types of LCs. Before I move on to the new topic, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Fine. Then study hard, right? And do your best, because normally, if you study from me, very rarely people get failed, right? මම ඇත්තටම මිස්ටර් බර්නඩ් හින්දා තමයි මේක කළේ. Bernard, since he left Sri Lanka, right? Otherwise, last few years I was handling the international trade Sinhalese medium one, right? Always the English medium students, they score a much higher marks than the Sinhalese medium guys. The reason is in Sinhalese medium, you don't get much books to read. But you people are lucky. There are so many books to read if you want to study hard. All right? But you won't believe, when I took over the DBF and DABF, those days of DABF, DBF, the pass rate of trade finance, Sinhalese medium, was 22%. English medium, it was 28%. 28, no, sorry, English medium, it was 33%. 33% English medium, Sinhalese medium, 22%. But gradually, year by year, I improved the pass rates. And last 2 years, consecutively, it was 75% and 76%. That is one time the lowest marks in DABF exams, international trade. I took it to the highest pass rate last 2 years. Right? When I was achieving 75 to 76% in Sinhalese medium, English medium was about 58 to 60%. Right? මම එක කිව්වේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ මාත් එක්ක හරියට කළොත් උනන්දුවෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්නට උත්තර දීලා මම බොහොම හිනා මේ ස්ටෝරියක් වගේ ගන්නන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට. එතකොට ඔයගලන්ට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉගෙන ගත්තොත් පාස් වෙන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම පුළුවන්. ඔයගලන්ව පාස් කරගන්න එක ලේසි. I can easily top 80% English medium. මම ගැරන්ටි කරලා මට 80% මට මුලින් ඉඳන් ක්ලාස් එකක් ආවොත් මම ඔයගලන්ව 80% මට පාස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. English medium is much easy to learn, especially in trade finance. Right? So only thing is, this is a give and take policy. You have to answer my questions. You have to cooperate, right? And not like a virtual class, like a normal physical class, you have to interact. If you can't understand anything, stop me, tell me, sir, can you repeat it again? Sir, sorry, I couldn't get it. Something like that, right? I will definitely do, because my only objective is to make you pass, and I will do it if you support me. And when I ask questions, if you are not answering, you keep dumb, then sorry, I will go on doing the lecture and go home after the lecture. Then I don't have any responsibilities, right? Okay, very important. All right. Then we'll see. We'll go for the next new session. Entrepot trade. Entrepot trade, right? There's a what do you call this handout. This was prepared by Mr. Bernard before he left, right? On entrepot trade, that is also there. You can get a printout. You can get a printout and then study that also, right? Make it into mama make a circular මම explain කරලා කියලා දෙන්න. මගේ slides වලින් මේකත් තියාගන්න. මේකත් print කරලා තියාගන්න. Okay. First, I will explain to you what is this entrepot trade. It's very, very important trade product in nowadays, right? Especially for a country like Sri Lanka, when we are, at the moment, we are going through a very bad patch of foreign exchange reserves, right? So this is a very good remedy, entrepot trade, right? Let's discuss about it. First, I will explain to you what is entrepot trade, and then we'll continue the discussion, right? Entrepot trade means, in simple terms, entrepot trade means importing goods from one country, for the purpose of re-exporting to another, right? If you want to write down any comments or notes, please do so, right? Making ගොඩක් ඒවා slide වලට අමතරව මම ගොඩක් කියනවා, right? ගන්න අවශ්‍ය ඒවා ලියා ගන්න. In simple terms, entrepot trade involves importing goods from one country for the purpose of re-exporting to another, right? Again, entrepot trade are trading transactions where a middleman in one country buys goods from a seller in a second country and sell them to a buyer in the third country at a profit and with minimum value addition and without changing the character of the goods or even without any value addition, right? I will draw the transactions, then we can discuss that. Okay. Now, for example, Uh, we'll take one example, like a guy, a Sri Lankan guy. I'll take this case study. Huh? A Sri Lankan guy, if you say Mr. Pereira, now Mr. Pereira has got a export order to export Barbie dolls. ගැන ළමයි දන්නවනේ චුටි කාලේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ Barbie dolls ලා හොදාගෙන ඉන්නවනේ සෙල්ලම් කරනවනේ Barbie dolls ලා. So Mr. Pereira, right? අපි තුමු. This is Sri Lanka. Right? Mr. Pereira. ඒක මම ලිවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ Mr. Pereira, he has got a order to send Barbie dolls to, we say, France. Right? France වලට යවන්න. එයාට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා මේ order එක. Right? Barbie dolls. Now, he was planning to manufacture the Barbie dolls. Then, one day, he was told by the EDB, Export Development Board, right? There's a trade fair in China. There's a trade fair in China. So he thought, it's a good opportunity for me to visit China and see what are the things I can buy from China. So he visited China. When he visited China, the trade fair, we say Beijing trade fair, he saw there are so many manufacturers who are manufacturing Barbie dolls. There are so many manufacturers who are manufacturing Barbie dolls in bulk. In bulk, කියන්නේ අර Barbie doll ගේ ඇඳුම් ඔක්කොම මේක අන්දලා එක එකනාගේ මම නම් දන්නේ නැහැ. දූලා දන්නවා ඉතින් එක එකනාට පොඩි කාලේ නම් තියෙනවනේ. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ළමයින්ටත් උගල Barbie dolls ආරම්භ දීලා ඇති. ඒ ළමයින් ඒ Barbie dolls නම් තියෙනවා ඒ කට්ටිය එනවා. ඒ ඇඳුම් අන්දලා ඔක්කොම කරලා Barbie dolls ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි අර boxers වල අර මේ දාලා නැහැ. ඒකට ඒවා expensive. So he got few guys, the manufacturers in China, he got a sign a contract with them to send us a container load of Barbie dolls from China. Right? Container load of Barbie dolls from China. So this is he is getting from China. Right? Then මෙතන contract එක තියෙන කාගාවද? මේ දෙන්න ගාවනේ. France and Sri Lanka to supply Barbie dolls. Right? Now China, we had a contract with them and they send goods. They send goods from China to Sri Lanka. It's a bulk. When we received, Mr. Perai, what he's doing is, he's doing some value addition. He's only doing some value addition. He will keep this one, right, under entrepot trade operations. When you receive the goods, you can keep it in a bonded warehouse. It's a bonded warehouse, right? Mr. Pereira, Harper again, bonded warehouse. bonded warehouse right? He get a lot of facilities from the government to this type of, right? And here what he is doing is he is doing some value addition, only value addition. What is the value addition he can do? He can put those Barbie dolls into boxes. Cellophane wrap එක දාලා boxes වල ලස්සන display කරලා then display boxes වල දාලා then he will re-export to France like what he has manufactured. Okay, now this is we call entrepot trade, getting from another country and without releasing them into the country, we keep the goods in a bonded warehouse inside the port, bonded warehouse, and then do some value addition and then re-export to the third country. Re-export to the third country. Right? The Sri Lankan guy is the middleman. He is the middleman. Right? This is the first country. This is the third country. This is the second country. The third country. Right? This way we will handle it. Now, when we receive the goods, we can pay this guy, the China supplier. There are 4 payment methods. What do you think about the best payment methods? Best payment method to pay China, because here you have to get the money from the third country. This value addition will take about 20 days. So within 20 days, you will export it and get the money from the third country. Right? What is the best payment methods you can talk about here? If you want to pay money to this guy, the payment, you can do the payments. Out of payment methods, yeah, you must have learned about the payment methods. What are the payment methods in international trade? What are the payment methods in international trade? Asha? Diranja? Tell me. Tell me. What are the payment methods in international trade? Come on. If I can do it there. Mr. Bernard මට ලිස්ට් එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඔයාලට ඉගෙනුවේ කියලා මම ආයෙත් නම් ඕවා ගන්නන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? මේ ලිස්ට් එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා මේ උගන්ට කරන ලිස්ට් එක.
It's open account,
Open account,
payment,
advance payment,
documentary credit, and documentary collection.
documentary credit and documentary collection. Documentary credit and documentary collection, you can subdivide it. What are they? Documentary collection, DAN, DP. DAN, DP. Documentary credit, site and usance. Site and usance. Usance is on a future date. Site is immediately. DP is immediately, documents against payment. And the other one is documents against acceptance, DA, to pay on a future date. Okay? Those are the payment methods. So what do you think, if you are planning to get the money from France and then pay these guys, what should be the best payment methods? මෙහෙම ගියොත් බැංකුවකින් ණය ගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. බැංකුවලින් සත්‍යයක්වත් ඉල්ලන්නේ නැතුව ලස්සනට මේ ජොබ් එක කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Within a goods worth of, we'll say US dollars 50,000. US dollars 50,000 worth of goods. And he has got a this thing to send the goods to France. Right? Finished goods. Finished goods to France at US dollars 80,000. US dollars 80,000 වලට මෙයාට යන්න පුළුවන්. right? මෙතෙන්දී value addition එක වෙනවා cost of goods, that is 50 plus value addition plus value addition, right? මේක අපි 50 කියලා ගත්තොත් value addition එක 10 කියලා ගත්තොත් දැන් අපිට ඔක්කොම වෙන්නේ US dollars 60,000 තමයි එතෙන්ට වෙන්නේ. මෙතෙන්ද අපි 80 වලට විකුණනවා, you get a clean profit of 20. You get a clean profit of 20. Right? So what are the best payment methods you can suggest here? Open account. Can we use open account? Can we use open account? Yes, that's the best payment method. One is open account, because open account means you will pay after you receive the money from these people. You will pay. Make the agreement open account. I will pay you after 30 days or after 60 days. After 60 days, I will pay you. Once you receive the money, you will pay this guys. You don't have to get a bank loan for this. Right? Then can we go for advance payment? Advance payment can be done. To pay China advance payment? Answer. Just think about it. No way. Advance payment? No way. Because if you have to pay advance payment, this 50,000 you have to send in advance. Then where do you have money to do that? If you don't have money, there's no way you can pay 50,000 to the first country, the supplier. Again, the advance payment gane naha mekata. First leg ekata advance payment gane naha. Second leg thawa monada apita ganna pulana first leg ekata. Thawa monada payment method send pulana. Collection. 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 Another. DA the DP there. If it is under collection, DA or DP. මට පේන ඔකට අයිඩියා එක මදිය වගේ. මගේ ළමයින්න මෙච්චර කැලකෙන්නේ ටක් ගාලා ආන්සර් කරනවා. right? Collection DA DP දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙන් කොයිකද අපි මේ ෆස්ට් ලෙග් එකට ගන්නෙ? අපිට බැංක් එකෙන් ණය වෙන්නේ නැතුව ලෝන් එකක් ගන්න නැතුව යන්න පුළුවන්. කොයි එකද? කියන්නේ කට වහගෙන ඉන්න එපා. වැරදුනොත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. වැරදුනොත් කමක් නැහැ. පිළිම ළමයි කතා කරන්නෙම නැහැ. right? Collection DA DA. So we have to pay after 30 days or 60 days or something. Right? So we have ample time to get the money from France. Right? Then third payment, LCs, LCs there. LC site or usance. LC site or usance. It cannot be site LCs, it has to be usance LC. Site in the ban. Right? අතර මෙන්න මේ තුنين තමයි අපිට මේ payments ටික කරගන්න ලේසි වෙන්නේ. Now when we are selling to France, right, we have to get the money from payments from France. What is the best method of payment? We are getting the payments from France. What should be the best method of payment? අපිට මොකක්ද ඉල්ලන්න පුළුවන් ෆ්‍රාන්ස් වලින්? ඔයගලගෙන් උත්තර ගන්න ගියොත් නම් මට පාඩම කරන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. Again, I will go back to my
advance payment.
Advance payment. ඉපණි කිව්වොත් පුතේ යන්න බෑ නැත්නම් මම ඔක්කොම නවත්තලා මම ඔය කියවන යනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුණාත් එකයි නැත්නම් එකයි පාස් වුණාත් එකයි නැත්නම් එකයි. එහෙම නැහැ. මගේ ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව් එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ව පාස් කරන්න ඕනේ. මට එච්චරයි ඕනේ. ඒක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. මගෙන් ළමයෙක් ඉගෙන ගත්තොත් ඒ ළමයා පාස් වෙන්නම ඕන. But I'm not boasting, but I'm the only person who is doing CDCS exams, teaching for CDCS exams in Sri Lanka, right? CDCS that's the most difficult exam in international trade, certified document trade specialist, the London exam. You have to pay examination fees, and the course fee is 200,000, 2 lakhs, right? ඒකට මගේ හැමදාම මගේ ඉන්න 7-8ක් ඉන්නවා මම ට්‍රේන් කරන කට්ටිය ඔක්කොම පාස් වෙනවා. You won't believe the pass mark is 80. Pass mark is 80. 80 කියන්නේ simple pass එක. එතෙන්ට යන්න ඕන. එතෙන්ට යන්නේ ළමයි මාත් එක්ක ඉගෙන ගන්න. මාන්සිලා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. right? ඉතින් කොහොම බැංක් එක ඒ කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා දැන්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහනකොට උත්තර දෙන්න. උත්තර දුන්නොත් තමයි මට යන්න පුළුවන්. තව මොකක්ද ඊගාට එන්න පුළුවන් payment method එක? Collection. DA ද DP ද අපි ඉල්ලන්න ඕනේ. ෆ්‍රාන්ස් වලට විකුණනකොට අපි ඉල්ලන්න ඕනේ DA ද DP ද. Right? We have to ask for DP. DA ඉල්ලලා මාස දෙකකින් සල්ලි આવොත් මෙතන කොහොමද ගෙවන්නේ අපි? Just imagine, right? You have to get the money and then pay these guys. එතන අපි දැන් මේකයි collection DA දැන්. එතන collection DP. Because we need the money immediately. If it is LC, site or usance, it is site. It is site. Because we need the money immediately. We have to pay. And here we put usance, 60 days usance. Then we can roll over the money and slowly we can pay the first country. Right? And in entrepot trade, there is a central bank regulation, central bank directions and regulations called 06/04/14/2013 කියලා circulate කියලා තියෙනවා. මේ පැත්තට advance payment තහනම්. They are prohibited doing it, getting goods on advance payment because the countries foreign exchange are releasing. They are releasing the country's foreign exchange. right? So we are trying to mitigate the risk, and therefore advance payment is prohibited here. And here they say open account, no, prohibited. We don't know when we are going to get it done. Whether we get it or not, that also we don't know. And connection, DA, they have prohibited. It should be DP and site. If you do it like this, easily you can keep a profit of $20,000 within 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks, you can keep a profit of $20,000. Right? Make a meter of Advino, make a bulk of the Adi. Make a 40 with a political underplan, a bulk of profit taken, very right? Then unit price tag ganana, the Babi dog and unit price tag $1, $2. But we can sell it to France for $6, $7. $6, $7, we can sell it to France. Right? Then there's a difference of another $5. $5 $1 $2 this is a very good opportunity for re-exporters. Right? Okay. Right. When a buyer from another country makes inquiries on certain goods, the middleman will check the availability of these goods with his suppliers in other countries and their prices. Okay, this is what I have explained to you. Based on the price and other costs involved, the middleman quote a price to the buyer. Okay, if they agree, he enters into a purchase contract with supplier and a sales contract with the buyer. Right? If he agrees, he will enter into a purchase contract with China and sales contract with France. Sales contract with France. Right? Okay. Difference in price minus all cost is the middleman's profit. Right? Difference in price minus all cost is the middleman's profit. Suppliers ship the goods as instructed and submit documents through banking channels to middleman. Okay, right. Then the middleman arrange with his bank to substitute bill of exchange and the commercial invoice received from the supplier with its own documents for the higher value and present them to the buyer. The final buyer will pay and obtain documents to clear the goods. Right? We have stored again. From the proceeds received, the amount due to the supplier is paid and difference is paid to the middleman. The exact operation will depend on the method of payment used for settlement of two contracts. This is what I have told you. The first leg, it has to be, you have to drag the payments as much as possible. And the second leg, you should get the money immediately. Then only you can balance the transaction. Right? Otherwise, you have to go to your bank and ask for loans. Right? Without getting loans, you can do this. Right? Now, before we talk about the benefits of the entrepôt trade to traders, right? This entrepôt trade in Sri Lanka, we are trying to improve and to expand this method of trading as much as possible, because this is a very good opportunity for us to earn foreign exchange. A relatively easy method of earning foreign exchange. And the other thing is, the period of time spent to complete the transaction is relatively short, because the guy, middleman in Sri Lanka, he will put the goods what he has imported from China in a bonded warehouse and add the minimum value and then re-export. Right? Normally, these bonded warehouses, the Sri Lankan government and the Ports Authority has given a facility, a free facility, free of charge. They will give it to the customers, for entrepreneur traders, free of charge for 21 days. For 21 days. So if you plan your operations in such a way, you can complete the transaction within 21 days. Then you don't have to pay a cent to the government. Factory එකක් ඕනෙත් නෑ. අර bonded warehouse එක ඇතුළේ දාගෙන මිනිස්සු වැඩ කරනවා. ඒකම තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. Right? This type of entrepreneur trading trade centers in Sri Lanka, we are having in Katunayaka Free Zone, Colombo Port, right? Then Hambantota Port and Matala Airport, right? Matala Airport එකේ තියෙන්නේ කොග්ගල Free Zone එකේ. Katunayaka Airport එකේ entrepreneur trading කරන්නේ bonded warehouses තියෙන්නේ Katunayaka Free Zone එකේ. Right? Colombo Harbour එකේ තියෙනවා Colombo Harbour එකේ Macklem Road එකේ. Macklem Road එකේ තමයි ඊළඟේ ඒ bonded warehouse තියෙන්නේ Ports Authority එකේ. Hambantota, you have ample opportunity, the massive area where you can promote this entrepreneur trading in the bonded warehouses. Right? In other countries, this is very popular. Entrepreneur trade centers are London, Hong Kong, Singapore, Amsterdam. They are the most popular entrepreneur trade hubs. Right? In my opinion, there is a great potential for entrepreneur trade in Sri Lanka, especially under the commercial hub regulations introduced by the government. Right? Because this commercial hub regulations introduced by the government, this has helped, or we expect these regulations to bring more revolutionary changes in the development of trade. Right? This entrepreneur trade involves movement of cargo from one point to another through a middleman or a middle port without any import or export levy imposed at the port. When we are importing goods from China to the bonded warehouse, we don't impose import levy. Or rather, when we are exporting the finished goods to France, we don't impose export levy. It's a benefit to the trader. It's a benefit to the trader, right? And the most important thing you have to understand is goods for entrepreneur trade are stored in bonded warehouses until exported in Sri Lanka under the customs ordinance bonded warehouse, right? Then only thing is it is strictly prohibited that without paying duty, without paying the import duty, it is prohibited to be used in Sri Lanka. Internally, you can't use, right? You can't. You can't bring it into the country. It has to be stored in the bonded warehouse only. එතනින් එළියට ගන්න බෑ. එතනින් එළියට ගන්නවා නම් ඩියුටි ගෙවන්න ඕන. මේ ඩියුටි ෆ්‍රී යන්නේ. right? ඉතින් එතෙන්දී අර විකුණන මේ හදන මේ බාබි ඩෝල්ස්ලා මෙහි විකුණන්න බෑ. තහනම්. ලංකාවට දාන්න බෑ. right? දැම්මොත් they have to pay taxes. There are two types of bonded warehouses. One is the government one and the private one. Ours, the government ones are very popular, right? And when we are importing goods, I'm telling you a lot of things under this entrepot trade, because this is something which we can promote, and I trust the next year exams, when you are doing the exams, this type of question is a possible question, entrepot trade, because nowadays we are talking about the scarcity of foreign exchange in Sri Lanka. Now, this is a very good tool for us to earn more foreign exchange easily in a very short period. So the government of Sri Lanka should promote these type of things. මේ වගේ දෙයක් ඒකෙන්ද රටේ තත්ත්වෙත් එක්කම question එකට එන්න possibility එක තියෙනවා. Right? Okay. Then we don't want any මං කියන්නේ අපි ගන්නේ නැහැ කියලා import duty ගන්නෙත් නැහැ. We don't want any import control license also. Right? Only what we do is doing the repacking or labeling. Those are the value additions we can do, right? Before we re-export it. The FOB value, if you want to write down, right? The FOB value of re-export, should be more than the CIF value of imports. Should be more than the CIF value of import. FOB value of the re-export should be more than the CIF value of import. Otherwise, it's a loss, right? Re-exports, re-export is not permitted. Re-export is not permitted under documents against acceptance, DA terms, under DA terms. Then another important thing is the entrepot trader should declare the actual country of origin in the customs documents. Okay. Now, benefits of entrepot trade to the country. We talk about the benefits of entrepot trade to traders. Maybe questions, right? Then the benefits of entrepot trade to the country: increase foreign exchange earnings, generate additional earnings for seaport, airports, and to the other service providers in Sri Lanka, both in the public and private sectors. Right? Enhance the image of the country as a trading center. enhance the image of the country as a trading center. The facilities provided by the Sri Lanka government to develop entrepreneur trade, right? Facilities provided by the Sri Lankan government to develop entrepreneur trade. One is regulations issued by the Control of Exchange encouraging entrepreneur trade either via Sri Lanka or direct to a third country. Okay. Then tax exemptions granted for selected products like petroleum, gas, and petroleum products. Concessionary warehouse charges and free facility up to 21 days granted by Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Right? The EDB creates awareness by conducting seminars and issuing brochures and provide advisory services. This is where we want to encourage people to engage in entrepreneur trade as much as possible. Building infrastructure such as air cargo terminal at Katunayaka, Sri Lanka Ports Authority warehouses at DR Vijayawardena Mawatha and Hambantota Port. Mattala Airport එකේ bonded warehouses තියෙන්නේ Koggala free zone. It's in the Koggala free zone, right? And Katunayaka International Airport, it is at the export promotion zone in Katunayaka. Export promotion zone in Katunayaka. Right. The entrepreneur trade, there is one circular I told you in Mr. Bernard's what do you call this handout. He has mentioned that one, right? After the first para, he has mentioned entrepreneur trade shall be carried out in one of the following methods. Etika koma me circular getting tiga tino. Importation of the following items are prohibited: narcotics and arms and ammunition. Ada karanda pulang ewa monada serma tino. Right? Right. Another ganda on entrepreneur trade. It's a very interesting area. Entrepreneur trade වෙන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ විදිහට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? One is goods imported and be stored in a custom bonded warehouse until they are re-exported to a third country. Right? That can happen. Right? Before we export it to a third country. But this is what I have explained to you. Then pre-packing, pre-labeling, simple processing of goods imported be carried out in the custom bonded warehouse, bonded area before exporting to a third country. Right? That is explained in that circular. Circular number 06/04/14/2013. Right? Then C, exportation of goods directly from a second country to a third country without the goods physically arriving in Sri Lanka. That also can happen. Right? That also can happen. That means in here, these goods can go directly from this country to this country without coming here. Right? But we buy from this one, and when we are selling, the goods goes directly to the third country, but the transactions goes through like this, but no value addition. It goes direct. That's also possible, right? And there's another way of doing entrepreneur trade. You ship the goods, come to the port, right? No value addition. Then we unload it and reload it to another vessel and goes to the other country. Either they can send directly to third country, or it can go through this way. Can go through this way, right? So the goods will come to the Sri Lankan port, unloaded and loaded to another ship immediately, and that ship goes to France. Like it's coming from us. Right? So there are 2-3 ways of doing this entrepot trading, and this entrepot trade is a very good thing for people, for a country like us. Now, for example, we have ample opportunity in Hambantota free zone to do this one, right? Then just imagine when we start doing the repacking and value additions, a lot of people will go and start working there. There are indirect benefits. Direct benefits are the foreign exchange. Indirect benefits, more job opportunities locally, right? People from Kurunegala, Colombo, Hamban, Anuradhapura, they will go and start working in those areas. Then when they start working in those areas, they have to look for boarding houses, lodging. So the people in Hambantota area, it's additional income for them, right? Then they need food, right? Good opportunity for close by boutiques, hotels, right? මේ බුලත් විටි කඩයක් වුණත් දාගත්තාම ඒ මිනිහටත් හරියනවා. ඒ මිනිස්සු වැඩ කරනවා නම් මිනිසුන්ට තියෙනවා පුළුවන් තරම් අපේ opportunities තියෙනවා. laundry එකක් දැම්මත් laundry එකටත් වැඩ තියෙනවා. ඔය වගේ තමයි ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා benefits, additional benefits, indirect benefits. So all in all, for me, I think this is a very good opportunity for Sri Lankans to get involved in this entrepot trading opportunities. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Tell me. Good, not the questions. Natang අපි යන් අනිත් එකට. Can you see this one? Can you see the slide? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see the slide. What I thought was, you have done UCP 600, right? UCP 600. I will give some case studies, about 20-25 case studies for you to do, right? I will start doing 1 or 2 today, and then it is up to you to do the thing. But if you go through the past papers, you can see most of the past questions they have selected from these case studies, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ කරන්න මම පුලුවන් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක ඩිස්කස් කරන්නම් අනිත් වැඩ කරගෙන යන අතරේ. හැබැයි හැමදාම ඔයගොල්ලෝ if you can do at least first you do everything, then I will start discussing with you at least 1 or 2 questions a day, right? Or possible මට වෙනම දවසක් අරගෙනවත් සම්පූර්ණ කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ සුමාන යනකොට මේ ටික ඔක්කොම කරගෙන තියාගන්න. Right? These are case studies on UCP 600. Right? Now we know ICC rules governing DC operations are UCP 600. Right? And this is like a revision class for people who have just joined or joined recently. This will be a good revision class, but you have to work hard. Functions of UCP is to govern use of DCs in international trade and standardize the DC practice, remove possible misunderstandings, give greater security to banks and customers, and facilitate and encourage international trade. Okay. In UCP 600, I have given a easy guideline. General provisions and definitions will be covered under Article 1 to 3. Form and notification of credit, Articles 9 to 11, like that. Right? Liabilities and responsibilities, Article 4 to 8 and 14 to 16. Transferable credits, Article 38. Like that, I have given all those guidelines. Case study 1. Case study 1. Under Article 14, we have to check the documents as per Article 14 that we know. There, if I remind you about the definition of LC, definition of LC is issued by issued by the issuing bank, and issuing bank is giving an irrevocable undertaking. Issuing bank is given an irrevocable undertaking to the beneficiary that if the documents are comply with the terms and conditions of the LC, we will pay. If the documents are comply with the terms and conditions of the LC, we will pay. Otherwise, these documents will be discrepant. If the documents are discrepant, we will not pay. Right? So, in some questions, they ask whether these discrepancies are valid or not. Right? Okay. Case study 1. DC showing, according to the DC, the beneficiary is ABC Company Limited. ABC Company Limited. හැබැයි මේ වැඩේට මට ඔක්කොම ආන්සර් කරන්න ඕන. ඔයගොල්ලෝ කට්ටිය ආන්සර් කරන්න ඕන. ආන්සර් කළේ නැත්නම් මට මෙතනින් එහාට යන්න බෑ. මොකද මම මේවට උත්තර මම දන්නවා. මම උත්තර දන්නවා. මට ඕනේ ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න. right? ඒකින්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝ කතා කරන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක එහෙම නවතින වැඩේ. වැරදුනට කමන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වැරදි දේම කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. right? Okay. DC showing a beneficiary as ABC Company Limited. When they present the documents presented, bill of lading showing the shipper as DEF Company. When they present the documents, the bill of lading showing shipper as DEF Company. Is this a valid discrepancy? Is this a valid discrepancy? What do you think? What do you think? DC showing beneficiary ABC Company Limited. Documents presented, bill of lading showing shipper as DEF Company. Is it a valid discrepancy? What do you think? According to the LC, the beneficiary is ABC company. But the BL shows DF, shipper as DEF company. Is it a valid discrepancy? මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ? valid ද නැද්ද? Tell me.
No.
It is not a valid discrepancy. Why? Different name now. I'm sure Mr. Bernard must have discussed these things with you. I'm sure you must have discussed these things. Why? You say it's not a valid discrepancy. Right. Your answer is correct. It is not a valid discrepancy. Right? Now we have, but you have to say the reason, no? What's the reason? What is the reason? Just imagine in a transferable DC. We just discussed it last week, no? Transferable DC. එහෙම නැත්නම් අද discuss කළා back to back එකේ. ඔක වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඔක තමයි නේ වෙන්නේ. Right? Beneficiary ඇවිල්ලා ABC company, the middleman. But the shipper is second beneficiary. He is the one who is the DF company. Right? But we submit those documents. It is not a discrepancy. It is not a discrepancy. මේකේ ඔගොල්ලෝ උත්තර දෙනකොට කියන්නේ නා ආටිකල් එක ආටිකල් 14K මේක කරද්දී නම් UCP 600 එක ළඟින් තියාගන්න වෙනවා article 14K. Article 14K, what it says is the shipper or consignor of the goods indicated on any document need not be the beneficiary of the credit. Very clearly they are mentioned. The shipper or consignor of the goods indicated on any document need not be the beneficiary of the credit. Right? Okay. Take as per article 14K. As per article 14K. Right. Second question about case study 2. A DC called for certificate of conformity issued by a competent authority. Right? Certificate of conformity issued by a competent authority. You will accept a document issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. උත්තර හතරක් තියෙනවා. හතරෙන් හරි උත්තරේ තමයි තෝරන්න ඕනේ. Multiple choice එකක්. You will accept a document issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. B, issued by any party as long as they state competent authority in the document. C, issued by any party including the beneficiary. D, none of these. Request clarification from the issuing bank. DC called for is a certificate of conformity issued by a competent authority. That is the DC condition. දීලා තියෙනවා තමයි හතර යටින් තියෙනවා. What is the correct answer? You will accept a document A, B, C, D. What is the correct answer? And I want to know the articles also. තමයි මදි හොඳටම ඔයගන්ට මේක නම් එක්සෑම් කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. මේ විදියට නම් මදි. කොහොමද ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් කරන්න යන්නේ මේක පාඩම් කරන්න යන්නේ? The best practical method of learning, you have to learn UCP and URC. There's no other words. Now, how you are going to learn it? To all my students, what I am telling them is every day, you have to study. If you can study 2 classes, you can study 2 classes, right? Within 2 weeks, you can finish the UCP 600. Before the exam, you should reread it, right? At least 4 times. At least 4 times. එහෙම කළොත් තමයි මතක හිටින්නේ. right? ඒක තියාගෙන යන්න ටාගට් එකට. එක දවසේ පාඩම් ගන්න බෑ එක්සෑම් එකට දවසක් තියලා UCP බලන්න බෑ. ඔළුවට එන්නේ නැහැ. හොඳම දේ තමයි ඔය රැට බලන්නේ. හොඳම දේ තමයි බුදිය ගන්න ගිහිල්ලා රැට අදගාවින් තියාගෙන ඔක බල බුදිය ගන්න ෆස්ට් ආටිකල් එක කියයි සෙකන්ඩ් එක යනකොට ඔගොල්ලෝ බුදි පොතත් එක්කම බුදි එක අම්මෙලිනේ රයිට් අනිත් දවසේ එහෙම කරන්න ටික පොඩ පුරුදු වෙයි දවසේ වෙලාවක් නැත්තම් බලන්න you have to learn this at least 4 times before the exam. You have to go through it at least 4 times, right? එක URC එකත් same thing. දවසට දෙක ගන්න ස්ටඩි කරා නම් හරියනවා. මේක මොකද්ද ආටිකල් එකේ එන්නේ? What is the article? What is the article? What is the article? Article 3. Article 3 එකේ තියෙනවා මේකට උත්තරේ. Article 3 එකේ මේකට උත්තරේ තියෙනවා. Article 3 says terms such as first class, well-known, qualified, independent, official, competent, or local used to describe the issuer of a document allow any issuer except the beneficiary to issue the document. Except the beneficiary to issue the document. Okay. Any issuer, competent authority කියන එක අපිට ගණන් ගන්න බෑ. We don't know whether that guy is competent or not. We are not police to check those things, right? So if it has been issued by any issuer කියලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා නම් මෙයා competent කියලා we take it. But any issuer except for beneficiary. Beneficiary බෑ මං competent authority කියලා කියන්න. right? ඒක නිකාර හොරාගේ අම්මගෙන් පේන අහනවා වගේ. ඒ හොරාම කියන මම competent authority එකක් කියලා. beneficiary බෑ except for beneficiary. Then what is the answer? A, B, C or D? What is the answer?
B.
Huh?
B.
B. No.
A.
No. Except for කවුද? Beneficiary. Issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. Any party කියලා ගන්න බෑ. Issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. Second එකේ beneficiary ව exempt කරලා නැහැ. That is including beneficiary. So B is wrong. බලන්න හතරම එක වගේ. ඒකෙන් හරියට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන. Article 3. Article 3. Right. මෙතන ඉඳන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම කරන්න මම next week එකේ දැන් පාඩම් අතරේ මම මේවා යනවා. ඒකට ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරලා තියන්න. right? නැත්නම් වෙනදාට නම් මම මේ මගේ ළමයින්ට මම මේක දෙනවා ක්ලාස් එකේදී කරලා එහෙම නැත්නම් කරලා මට කොළ ටික මම එකතු කරගෙන පස්සේ මම බලලා දෙනවා. දැන් මට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගෙන් බලන්න දෙයක් නැහැ නේ. ඉතින් හොඳම දේ තමයි අපි යන්න වෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරන්න එකතු වෙලා කරලාට පස්සේ මම බලන්නම් කොහොමද හරිද වැරදිද කියලා. මම එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරනකොට මම ආටිකල් එක මම කියලා මේක කරනකොට ඕද නැද්ද කියන එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලෑස්ති පිටින් ඉන්න ඕන උත්තර දෙන්න. right? At least case study 3 to 10 වත් කරලා තියන්න next week එකේ. 3 to 10 වත් කරලා තියන්න. අපිට මේ දෙකටම තියෙනවා. right? මේ ඔක්කොම ඔයගලන්ට හරිම interesting cases ඒ වගේම exam එකකට එන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා. The මේ ටික study කරලා පස්සේ you have no issue. right? Okay. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Any questions? No. 3 o'clock now. Okay, now next week I will start a new session. Right? There are ancillary sessions which we have to cover. Are there any people who are in the class from the beginning? මට කියන්න central bank එකම කළාද? How central bank is supporting international trade operations? Have you done that? Have you done that? මට ඒක central bank එකම තමයි මට පේන්න අහන්න වෙන්නේ. Okay, දැන් Mr. බර්නාඩුත් නෑ අහන්න. central bank එකම අහන්න විදියක් නෑ. කාගෙන්ද මං අහන්නේ? බර්නාඩ්ගේ පොතම තමයි මට බලන්න වෙන්නේ අසංකර පොත. Right, okay. We'll call it a day. We'll meet next week. Okay? Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pate. Thank you, Kina. Wagema, kata ka na magiging tikat. Pamigdaw, sir.